Hello and welcome to my latest weekly video news from Madison's. Well, inflation is obviously hitting the headlines at the moment. It was at 5.4% last month. That's the highest rate seen since 1992 when it sat at 7.1%. And why is inflation roaring away so much? Well, it's quite simply that there is too much money in the economy chasing too few goods. And when people want to spend more, prices can rise as things become scarcer. And obviously people can push their prices knowing that there will be a ready market and demand to meet them. That's obviously the result of how much extra money was pumped into the economy during the pandemic, and also the country was placed on several lockdowns where you couldn't go out and spend your money. People aren't paying for a train ticket, restaurants were closed, people weren't going on holiday. So £150 billion excess in people's bank accounts as we came out of the final lockdown. And that money had to go somewhere. So that's what's causing inflation to rage, too much money circulating in the economy. So the only way that Bank of England really can try and control that is through interest rate rises. And that's simply because if you make debt more expensive, there's less money in people's pockets. And you would therefore expect to see them stop spending on those luxury items, and therefore inflation starts to come down. But that's a tricky one for this Bank of England to manage, because of course, as we're seeing, inflation isn't affecting, or is affecting luxury items, but the headlines are filled with how it is affecting what would be called necessity items, basic cost of living things, fuel, food, all those basic things that we need to do are being hit massively by inflation. They're talking, of course, about windfall taxes on the big energy companies to try and put more money back into the government's hands to help out the most needy. But you do hear the dilemma at the moment: heat or eat. So it's going to be a difficult one. The Bank of England facing a real dilemma there, that it really has to balance raising those interest rates with the fact that for many who might already be struggling with meeting their energy bills, putting food on their table, they might have a rising mortgage to contend with if interest rates go so high. So it'd be really interesting to see what this one. I'm fascinated by economics. If anyone ever wants to have a chat with me about it, I'm very happy to do so. Yeah, it's a subject that's really, really interesting for me, and I did an element of economics in my second degree, so know a bit about it on the theoretical side as well. Well, the first-time buyer market, of course, they might be feeling pinched by the rising property prices that we have been seeing. Another bit of an effect of inflation, actually. And of course, we are full of all woes and sorriness for them about how difficult it is to get on the property ladder. But interestingly, looking back at last year, there were a phenomenal 222,000 purchases made by first-time buyers, making up 30% of the transaction market. So they seem to be doing all right. And this got me to wondering about what is going on with the first-time buyer market, and is it as bad as we perhaps make out? And there's really 6 kind of key factors that are in their favour, really. Firstly, there's the Help to Buy scheme, where the government will assist you in buying a brand new property. Then, of course, there's the 95% government-backed mortgages. So you only need to raise 5% deposit as a first-time buyer. The government will secure the rest for the bank to give them more comfort. Of course, we're in a phenomenally low interest rate environment. When I bought my first house, interest rates were at 15%. It was expensive. And now, of course, we see interest rates phenomenally low. Stamp duty, they've got a lot of help on that. The first 300,000 is free for all first-time buyers in the area that we are. And of course, they saw bigger reliefs last year. And raising wages. Sorry, get my teeth in. Good grief, wages have been rising by about 8%. So they're having good wage growth. And the final thing, the Bank of Mum and Dad, the 5th biggest lender now, has lent a reported £73 million recently to help their children get on their property ladder. Of course, they are having a rising property market that they are seeing with their own wealth, and able to release some of that equity to help their children get on the property ladder. So we love the first-time buyer market. They're so crucial to keeping the property wheels turning, because they unlock chains at the beginning And I'm thrilled that through those measures they are able to get on the market and help the rest of us second, third, fourth, fifth steppers, downsizers, continue with our property moving plans. Well, of course, we're coming to the end of January. If you've been doing dry January not long to go now, I've been doing dry January and veganuary, so my body is a temple, but oh gosh, I'm not sure I'm as happy as I would normally be on a Saturday night with a drink. One thing to put in your diary that I start to think about at the end of January, it's a fabulous light lantern parade that goes on through Tunbridge Wells. It's actually next weekend, but this weekend on the Saturday the 29th, you can go to a venue to make your own lantern. They've got morning session and afternoon session at Christchurch. So do look at the website, the link that you're seeing there for more details. And then next Saturday, I will remind you for the fabulous lantern parade that goes on through the town. It's really a wonderful sight. Children will love it. We've got a great new property that we have launched on Princes Street. It's on at a guide price of $925,000. Beautifully presented, unusual orientation for Princes Street. It sits up and on the side on the road that goes down to Cambridge Street. So it's got a really lovely elevated aspect, great views, proving really popular. Do give us a call if you'd like to arrange a viewing for that one. Well, have a great week and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.